So as a YouTuber, one of the most soul-crushing, punch the air type of feelings you can have is when you already record, a full-length video, edit that video afterwards, which, by the way, is all very extremely time-consuming stuff, to only accidentally delete it like an idiot. So here I am again, refilming the exact same video, so let's go. Everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Stasia, and my channel is all about following a whole food plant-based diet for both health and weight loss. So today's video is going to be a little bit of a story time video slash update, with what's been going on with me. I think it's been about 3 weeks or so, which is unusual for me to not post a video in that long. However, there are some reasons for that. Some of you have personally reached out. So today I will be going over what some of those reasons are, as well as sharing, another testimony just to how important and how amazing and healing a whole food plant-based diet is. So I kind of look at this as like a part 2 of a testimony to a whole food plant-based diet. For those of you new to my channel, you might be interested in checking out my whole story, kind of as to how I got into this way of eating and just how, amazing the power of food is and how it personally has played a huge part in my life. I was really sick for 2 years. A lot of things going on with me that the doctors just couldn't figure out. I've already made a full video explaining what happened to me, but I was basically able to heal myself as well as lose 65 pounds following a plant-based whole food diet. So if you're interested in hearing about how I've basically cured myself by eating this way, then I will definitely leave that link in my description box below. And today's video is kind of, I guess a part 2, and another testimony to the power of food and the power of this particular diet. Yeah, so I have a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, and potatoes are kind of a big part of it. And in a way that most of you would not see coming, even myself, I didn't really realize. So really cool and really interesting. But with all that being said, just before I jump into, letting you guys know what's going on, I just wanted to let you know that because it has been so long, I feel so bad that I have not been on here to offer any of my book sales. I love to be able to help you guys out. I don't like cost being a factor of preventing you from living a healthier, leaner life. So if you are looking for more oil-free recipes in general or oil-free sauces and dressings, I have over 50 recipes in my one book and 30 oil-free sauces and dressings in my other book. And I also have a meal plan. If you are looking for, a little bit more guidance in how to get started in this lifestyle, all of my books will be on sale for 70% off for the entire weekend, because I know some of you guys don't see my videos until a few days after they're released. So please take advantage of that if you already haven't, and the link to those books will be posted in my description box below. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, so going back about 3 weeks ago now, unfortunately, my family was not so lucky to be dealing with the C virus in our home. Oh, that is a beast all on its own. But I have some interesting information that could help some of you regarding, the C virus if you end up, being unlucky like us. But before I share with you what I did that was incredible in healing and getting better from that virus, I do just want to throw that out there that, of course, I am not a medical practitioner. I'm not saying that this is what you should do. I am just sharing my own personal experience, what worked amazing for me. So, but of course, always do your own research, talk to your doctor, and yeah, all that good stuff. This is just my own personal experience. So with that being said, the C virus hit us. Out of anybody in my home, got hit the worst, which is always kind of like, a mind twister for me, because I am pretty much the only one in my home that never gets sick. Like rarely I get sick. So for some reason, the C virus, that one is not applicable. I've had it once before. This is the second time, and it's always brutal for me. So I don't know what is different about that virus, but it is just like all, everything is off the table and, all fair game. So I was very, very, very sick. I mean, I had a ripping headache for maybe 18 hours straight. I never even get headaches normally. So that was weird. And it's like so beyond a headache. A headache just sounds like such an understatement. It's like someone stabbing your brain, and it was relentless. And then I had like fevers, hot and cold. I mean, just feeling horrible, horrible. So I'll spare you some of the details. Now, I ended up going online and doing some investigative research, we'll call it. I use the research word very, very loosely because it's not actual research, but and we'll say Google and Reddit research. And I was able to find, some solutions that other people had done or used when they had the C virus. And one of them being oil of oregano. Now, oil of oregano is no stranger in this home. I have used it for many, many, many things. And I just know it's just a miracle oil. Now, it's not just oregano, and it's not like an essential oil. It's called oil of oregano, super potent stuff. Like we're talking one tiny drop goes a long way. So I had read online that people were using this to combat the C virus, and they were taking it, kind of like like as an actual dose. So they were taking it 3 times a day, 2 drops under the tongue. You always want to use a carrier oil because it will burn you. It is so potent. So I was using just a tiny bit of coconut oil with 2 drops of the oregano oil and then holding it under my tongue. So I did this 3 times a day. Now, this thing was like magical. Like I wish in a way I would have got my husband to record just how sick I was to show you how fast I bounced back from being that sick by oil of oregano. So I was basically dying, or I felt like I was. So that was the first day. The second day is when I actually started taking the oil of oregano. And by the third day, I woke up and I felt almost completely better. So I had 2 days where I felt awful. By the third day, I woke up thinking like, oh, I feel like a new person type of better. Like we'll say 80% better. And then I had this funny inkling that I was like, I wonder if I were to test now, if I would even have the C virus anymore, because it was almost like these horrible symptoms just came to like a complete halt by day 3. So I kept up with the regimen and I did the 3 times again, 2 drops 3 times a day. And by the 4th day, it was like C virus never even happened for me. And I couldn't believe it. Like I still can't believe it, just going based on how sick I was, because I know some people get the virus and it doesn't really affect them too bad, but that was not my case. Like it affected me really bad. And even the first time that I got it, it lasted for 10 days exactly, like all the worst symptoms. And then for weeks, even beyond that, like my husband and I were battling all these like lingering symptoms. So I thought, oh boy, I'm really in for it, right? But by day 4, I took a test and I actually tested negative. And I felt that it was no longer in me because I just felt good again. I felt normal. So within 4 days, really only 2 of those days, I was following that, 2 times a day, 2 drops 3 times a day regimen. It was gone by day 4. So really only 2 full days though of taking that, and I was good. Again, that is just my own personal experience. Others have also had this experience using oil of oregano for this virus. And I'm just flabbergasted. Like I'm still, as you can probably see, I'm still flabbergasted that this oil was able to bring me back to life, and so quickly. So again, it's some really potent, powerful stuff. So I would do your research, talk to your doctor and all of that, because it can have some contraindications. It's not for everybody. It is not for children of any age. So it's not something to be taken lightly, but if you are in a position that you can take it, it can be life-changing. So anyways, I was very excited to share that with all of you, because I'm sure some of you may end up benefiting from that. I know I sure did. So that was the first thing, the first little update and information that I wanted to share. And now there is, a less than exciting kind of part 2. that I will jump into. You know what? I just thought of something very quickly. I just wanted to show you the exact one that I was using. It's called Joy of the Mountains Oil of Oregano. So, I mean, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it even in most, supplement stores or even like Shoppers or something, like pharmacies that even carry it. But it's just incredible because, again, something that can be so vicious, like the C virus, was able to be combated with something from nature, So this is why I get really excited about food and just the power of nature, right? Like what God's given us. It's really, really incredible. I can literally talk about this stuff till the cows come home, and I do. And I mean, my family can attest to that, and they probably get sick of it, but I can't contain my excitement just, again, because I have already seen firsthand the healing powers of food. And again, if you haven't heard my original story of how I was able to heal myself, you'll understand more if you watch that, where I'm coming from. So I'm just like super passionate, especially when I hear, someone not feeling well, to be able to share my story and reassure them that there is always hope, right? That the human body is amazing. And when we put the right foods inside of it, it's just incredible what can happen. So anyways, super excited that, that was my situation with the C virus, and just so thankful to be feeling better with that. So moving along to the second part. So really quickly, I'm just going to do a quick recap regarding my heart health. And for those of you, this might be the first time you're seeing one of my videos. Back just in July, oh, this stuff is on my fingers, and again, super, super potent. Don't want to stick that in my eyes. Back in July of 2022, I had some funky stuff going on with my heart, which I remember feeling like, this is kind of weird because I'm plant-based. Not that plant-based is like, 100% guarantee that nothing will ever be wrong with you. Of course not. But when it comes to the heart and the arteries and stuff like that, like I just feel like for those things, you do tend to feel a little bit more confident about that. So when I started having some funky stuff going on with my heart, just some weird type of palpitations happening and stuff, I did see my doctor, and they did pick up some abnormalities on my EKG, which is just an electrical heart test, basically. But all my blood work had come back that it was, pristine, actually was the words that my doctor had used in terms of like my cholesterol levels and stuff like that. He said both good and bad were just right on, on par with what they should be. And so I was like, okay. So he's like, you're definitely not at risk for heart attack. But he explained that there's different systems of the heart. So the arteries are what they consider the plumbing, and that's where people can have issues with a heart attack. He said my issue is an electrical issue, and that heart attack was not one of my main concerns, that it should have nothing to do with that. Although what I experience, when these palpitations are happening, it feels sometimes like I could have a heart attack. I mean, it's the heart, right? Like I say to my husband, like, it could be anywhere else in my body, like my foot, my big toe, my hand, my arm, my stomach even. But the heart, like, come on. It's just so frightening when there's anything wrong with your heart. Whether the doctor says it's benign or not, it's still so scary. And that's just being perfectly honest about it. So what I was diagnosed with was something called PVCs. And what that stands for is premature ventricular contractions. And basically all that means is that my heart, for whatever reason, is giving an extra heartbeat where there shouldn't be one. And then the other backup systems of my heart start scrambling, trying to get my heart back on the right rhythm. Well, while that's happening, what I'm feeling as my heart's trying to scramble to get the rhythm again is, I guess, like heart palpitations. But I don't know. They can kind of feel different sometimes. Sometimes they feel like just a normal palpitation. Sometimes it's like a fluttery feeling, like a really bad, like butterfly fluttery feeling. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. And other times it can just feel like a really strong extra beat. So what was happening was that after I had the C virus, all of a sudden these PVCs went from me experiencing them like maybe 3 or 4 times in a whole month, like really not that often, to experiencing them every 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, it was very scary stuff. And what was happening on top of that was that they were piggybacking on top of each other. So it wasn't just a, one PVC, like a palpitation type of thing would happen, and then like time would go by. It was like one after the other, after the other, after the other, where I like couldn't even catch my breath. There was a couple different times my mom was getting her clothes on, getting ready to take me into the hospital, because I'm like, they're not stopping, and the thing with PVCs, which is weird, you could literally be sleeping and having really bad ones actually, or resting. I was watching movies with my husband, just trying to take it easy, and they were happening terribly, just watching movies with him. So it's not just when you're, being, working out or going for a walk or doing anything like where you're exerting energy. It's actually like kind of sometimes worse even when I'm resting. It's weird. So they were happening really bad. Now, again, with my investigative research I was doing online, I did see that people who have been diagnosed with PVCs did have similar experiences with the C virus as well. I mean, I'll never know for sure exactly the reason why they started to, go completely berserk on me, but I'm going to assume that maybe that had something to do with it. But here's the fun part. So basically, who would have thought that potatoes, and let me tell you, I've got a lot of potatoes going on in this house right now, would have anything to do with healing myself. So this is some really interesting stuff. So basically, I ended up, going online and seeing what other people were doing to get these things under control. And one of the things that can exacerbate the symptoms of PVCs is when your electrolytes are off. More specifically, your potassium and your magnesium levels are lower than what they should be. And those ones are really tricky because you can't be too high or you can't be too low. And of course, without proper blood work, I don't know exactly what my levels are, but I thought, well, it's not going to hurt to include some dietary sources of potassium and magnesium. And my iron, I've always been someone who have had lower iron. So I bought some more iron that doesn't give me any tummy issues or anything. I've been using it for years. I just haven't used it in a while. So I bought a bunch of stuff, and it is crazy what has been going on since then. So basically, from the day that I started including this dietary potassium and magnesium, they calmed completely down. So what I've been eating is pumpkin seeds, which are an excellent source of dietary magnesium. So I've just been measuring out about 30 grams of pumpkin seeds every day and making sure that I get those in. As well as spinach is also an excellent source of dietary magnesium. So I've been having a lot of green smoothies, and we're talking like really green smoothies. They don't really taste that great, but I don't care. You don't know me personally, but I will share this part of myself with you, that whenever something is wrong with me, I am not the personality type to just lay down and die, or lay down and just let, the doctors give me all the answers, because they kind of let me down the first time around, and I did have to take my healthcare into my own hands. So I am a firm believer of just keep trying, right? And so I have nothing to lose with including this stuff in my diet. And a lot of you who are watching this video are probably well-versed in the plant-based community and the doctors and all of that. So Dr. Goldner is an incredible plant-based doctor that is just like, blowing up with popularity. I have been following her since nobody even knew who she was online, she had a very, very small Facebook group at the time, years ago. And now she was actually just recently interviewed on Chef AJ's channel. She's been interviewed multiple times on Chef AJ's channel. She's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And she has been healing so many people, thousands of people, with supposedly incurable, diseases and conditions and disorders, using green smoothies. So again, just another plant-based doctor just taking the reins and really changing the game a lot with her protocols. And so because of the greens being so heart healthy, I have been including the green smoothies in my diet that don't really consist of anything other than greens, a little bit of frozen fruit, some flaxseed, water. I don't use any milk or anything like that with it. And maybe like a date sometimes for sweeteners, but that's it. Like, it's a very, very basic green smoothie. And I've been drinking those every day. And I'll sometimes throw the pumpkin seeds in there if I don't feel like eating them, because it's just an easier way to get it in. And I've been feeling a lot better. So I've been doing that. And The other thing is the potatoes. Oh my goodness. So I'm sure I probably knew this at some point, that potatoes are a good source of potassium. But you know, when stuff doesn't really like apply to you, it just kind of, you know, in one ear and out the other sometimes. Well, turns out potatoes are one of the best sources of dietary potassium. More than a banana. I feel like we all have learned somehow that bananas are the go-to for potassium, but it turns out that potatoes even have more potassium than bananas, and that includes sweet potatoes or regular potatoes. So I'm like, this is good. This is really good. This works out for me like actually quite perfectly. So potatoes, I've just been eating them like crazy. And it's funny because even in, you know, Reddit and stuff where like I saw other people with my condition, this is something that they were doing, that they said they just ate potatoes all the time to increase their dietary potassium. So between the green smoothies, those pumpkin seeds, I do have some coconut water sometimes because it's great for electrolytes, and potatoes. That's basically all I've been sticking to. And I'm so excited to be able to say that they have really significantly calmed down. And to give you an example of what I mean by calm down, well, like I said before, they were happening like every 10 minutes and not just one, but several back to back to back, which is terrifying, completely terrifying. And now they're down to either none in a day or, you know, maximum, I would say like maybe 3, but they're spread out. So it's not those piggyback ones that really are scary. And I swear to you, it's because of the food. And, you know, as much as I don't want to be going through this, and definitely, like I said, nothing to do with the heart, it's so scary, I'm so happy to be able to share with all of you, though, again, another testimony to when you put the right things in your body, how healing it can be. You know, everyone always thinks that it's like medications and this, that, and sometimes, yes, medications have their place, and you definitely need to be on some medications to even survive. So I'm not, you know, dismissing those facts, but I think more people need to become aware of just by eating the right things, it can be life-changing. It can be restorative. It can completely change your entire health status, you know? So here I am again, going at it, trying to, you know, make sure that my health is completely intact by eating, you know, a whole food plant-based diet. I also think there's something to be said about the power of raw foods as well. So I'm definitely trying to increase those raw foods by getting those green smoothies in. For those of you who want to check out Dr. Goldner's protocol, maybe I can leave a link in my description box below to maybe her story, how she healed lupus by a plant-based diet, high raw, or maybe it was even all raw, but by drinking these green smoothies. And thousands of people have healed themselves as well. So I'm kind of combining both of them, getting those green smoothies in, eating potatoes like crazy, and I'm feeling a lot better. So I'm back. As long as nothing else crazy funky happens to me, then I will be continuing to put out videos and showing you guys what I'm eating and some, you know, recipes that I'm getting creative with. So that's it. So that's basically what's been going on with me. If you've made it this far, then that's incredible. I didn't expect this video to be that long, but I am happy that I had an opportunity to be able to share this stuff, because this is why we do these YouTube videos, you know, because we are able to connect with other like-minded people. And even if you're not like-minded, maybe you're just new to a plant-based diet, it's exciting to be able to share, you know, the stories that we all have of just how life-changing this way of eating can be, right? So thank you so much for watching this video and listening, especially if you've made it this far. And if you like health and weight loss content following a whole food plant-based diet, then of course, I would love to have you stick around. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. And just in general, if you found today's content valuable, then I would really appreciate giving me a good thumbs up. It helps the algorithm push my video out more. So, and also as a side note, one last thing, if you also have any type of experiences, like it doesn't have to be just heart related, but me personally, I would love to hear of any stories of any of you who have had heart issues and found any difference following a whole food plant-based diet or whatever you're doing. That'd be great to hear it. And just in general, if you've had any ailments in general and you've been able to reverse them or even like just improve them by following this way of eating, then leave it in the comments. We all benefit from hearing it, and I think it's just like a healthy reminder for a lot of us that, to just keep going, that this is the right way to eat, and it's so much bigger than just, weight loss or looking a certain way. Like, it's the whole package. It's all of that. It's just incredible. So I'm going to leave it here. But again, thanks so much for watching, and I will look very forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, just a reminder, 70% off on all of my books. So get yourself some copies, get started with this lifestyle. I promise you, you will not regret it. The links are in the description box below.